From the heart of Kansas City, we bring you Buk and Bob Take on Chiefs Kingdom, a podcast for fans, by fans, where we talk about the game and everything else, but without all the stat, everything. We just talk about the game as fans, and we hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm Buck. I watch the game with my heart on my sleeve, and I overreact to just about everything, but I love watching this team dominate today's NFL.
And I'm Bob, the usually the guy that has bad takes that people hate, and I have a knack for pissing people off.
Yep. How about them Chiefs?
How about them Chiefs? All right, so this is our reaction episode. We think we're on the 2 episodes a week during the season plan, and we just got done watching the game. It was a nail biter. Can we have 1 week
where we can just relax?
I could just relax for a quarter or two, just have the game in order for a quarter or two instead of 5 lead changes in the second half.
Yeah, that was insane, man. I got to say, I felt, well, before we get started, let's just get one thing off the table real quick.
Okay.
Taylor Swift was at the game, so that's done. They only showed her about 3 or 4 times. I don't care that they show her 100 times. I really don't. It doesn't bother me at all. She's rooting for my team, so it can only be good. But
she just makes us more popular. I mean,
yeah,
the amount of Swifties she's brought into the game. It's hilarious on the New Heights podcast. Swifties writing in, asking what's a 4th down, what's a down, what's a safety, all this stuff, and it's hilarious. But I mean, it's just growing the sport, and
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, how can that be a bad thing?
Yeah,
I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they show her for 4 minutes a game. I mean, her camera time all together was probably less than 60 seconds. But they do pan to her all the time. You know what? I'd rather see her than Brittany Mahomes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
although Brittany Mahomes, we got to give her credit.
I don't have a problem with her.
She's taken a turn. I mean, she was an absolutely obnoxious, gross brat for the longest time.
When she was hanging out with Jackson.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Jackson. Talk about like 2 different seeds from the same tree. Like,
remember the movie Twins?
Yeah.
Where one of the brothers got all the good genes and the other one got Danny DeVito.
Definitely the same thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's just a complete horrible human being. And Patrick Mahomes might be one of the coolest human beings I've ever, I don't know him, of course, but I've ever seen
get a good
in
idea.
action.
Yeah, you can get a good idea from the press conferences, from the way other players talk about him, that kind of thing. Yeah, he seems like just a good stand-up guy, the kind of guy I'd want to go have a beer with.
Oh, yeah.
4 or 5.
Love to have a beer with him, yeah.
So what do you think about the play on the field today?
Oh, man, are we just jumping right in? Where do we?
Yeah.
So
I know, where do we start?
I mean, I'd like to start off by saying I still stand by it. The quarterback sneak is the lamest, stupidest, dumbest play in the NFL and should be outlawed. It is a danger to quarterbacks and players, and it's lame. Lame. I mean, it's so dumb.
I don't know. I don't necessarily disagree. I don't like the quarterback sneak, but I understand its place in the game. I also think, it does kind of keep teams honest a little bit because, teams like the Chiefs, they're scared to run it because they know the effects that it can have on your superstar quarterback. But once you start taking away a play of this type, then it's a slippery slope, right? If they take away the tush push or the quarterback sneak, well, then, what's the line on that with, like, say, Lamar Jackson? I mean, a lot of his plays could be considered quarterback sneakish.
No, I mean, you would just have to say there has to be at least 1 second before the quarterback runs through the middle. That way you can't snap it and tush push. Like, you would have to snap it, set, and run.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be easy to outlaw, and they've thought about outlawing it. I don't know why they haven't. I would love to be a fly on the wall in the owners' meetings where I could actually get a feel for the reason they think it's an okay play to have, because it is so lame.
Well, speaking of rules, since we brought it up, there was something that you and I, the three of us, talked about during the game, is the interceptions. I personally feel like if a ball is thrown and it's tipped by an offensive player, then that interception should no longer be credited to the quarterback. That should be an interception on that receiver. And in fantasy play, that would go against the receiver. I know that would change a lot of stuff, but it's just not fair. You know, I go back to Kadarius Toney last season, man. He would have been responsible for, I want to say, 3 interceptions right now. You know, again, we don't do stats. We weren't doing this show last season.
Definitely 3.
Yeah. So
might have been 4, but definitely 3.
It's just, it's an unfair thing when the quarterback has no fault in the matter. Now, that being said, Mahomes' interceptions so far this year have all been on Mahomes. You know, so I'm not complaining that Mahomes is getting screwed here, but he did get screwed there last year, and every quarterback gets screwed by that. I just think it's an unfair stat.
Now let me pose something to you a little different. Now, I had never heard this take before today when we were watching the game, and I liked it initially, but then, you know me, I started thinking about what problems could this bring up, you know, in a bad way. Like, how could this change the game in a bad way? And I was thinking, if receivers have to know that they're going to get a bad stat for a ball that like they tip up, we might see receivers, especially the selfish ones. And let's be honest, I mean, one of the main qualities of wide receivers in the NFL is oftentimes
being divas,
selfish. Mm-hmm. They might just not even try for it, and then it's an easy pick.
I don't necessarily agree with that because, you know, for the same reason, I don't think it happens as much as it used to, especially with the scrambling quarterbacks, but wide receivers taking plays off. You know, T.O. did it every once in a while where he knew he wasn't the target and he would just kind of jog off the line of scrimmage.
Jamari Chase did it all of week 1.
So, I mean, and that is, unless you're a superstar wide receiver, that's going to land you on the bench real quick. And I think that same kind of play, I think it just kind of goes in line with that. So I don't think that would happen very much, but it would be super fucking obvious if it did. And I think that player would be, you know, it's reprimandable. You know, it's something to talk to your guys about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it could open up more cans of worms, but I do feel that it would have receivers maybe batting the ball down more rather than really going for the catch. Maybe. I don't know. Everything happens so fast and all of that's muscle memory. It would take time for the receivers to actually even react to the rule change. I'm pretty sure. Because, I mean, when you're going and you're in a sport and, you know, like lots of the times you're like, what'd I just do?
Yeah.
What'd I just do? You know, because it's muscle memory. That's why people always laugh at people taking martial arts. You know, as somebody who was a brown belt in Taekwondo, I can tell you the reason that we do the same move across the room and then back, and then another move across the room and then back is for muscle memory, so that it just happens out of reaction when you actually need to defend yourself. So I don't know. It would take a while for them to change and correct that behavior to a different type of behavior. But I do think it's kind of a neat idea and a neat thought.
Yeah, I've just always thought that was unfair, to be honest. But
all right, I do want to real quick, because we didn't get to talk about it because it hadn't happened before our last podcast. But boy, Jamari Chase. Which is weird because I looked at his name and it's spelled Jamar Chase. I don't know where the Jamar comes from because it's J-A.
It's just J-M-A-R-R.
Yeah. Jamar Chase is what it is. Jamar Chase, I guess. I don't know where the Jamari comes from, but if anybody can like let me know in the comments, I would love that. But yeah, this ain't no rivalry. This ain't no rivalry.
You said you weren't going to do that.
I know. I said, but I couldn't stop. I'd never heard him talk before, and it was just like, and I have a stutter, so I mean, I've been made fun of my entire life for it. So, but he's like, yeah, this ain't no rivalry. Everybody knows we the people that beat in the AFC. We the people.
And everybody knows it.
And everybody knows that. And this ain't no rivalry. It ain't there yet. I was just
I agree. It's not a rivalry yet. Yeah, everybody knows that's the team to beat because everybody is beating that team. So, you know what he sounds like to me? He sounds like that overly cocky kid on the playground that just got beat, and he wants to remind everybody, hey, don't forget about me. I am a great player.
I'm the best. I'm going to take my ball and go home.
He's a great wide receiver, man. I'd love to have him on my team, but that attitude,
I wouldn't.
Attitude wouldn't mix well in this locker room.
Dude, no, I don't want him anywhere near the Chiefs locker room. I mean, that guy, he's
a monster, though.
Let's talk about him during
that ball.
The game. Yeah. The idiot got a freaking a
penalty.
Yeah, a technical penalty. He got a unsportsmanlike because he was talking to the ref. He felt that he got hip tackled, and he definitely didn't because the I forget what chief was that took him down, but the chief basically did the splits. There ain't no hip going down to either side. He's like literally doing the splits while he's tackling him, and he gets up, and you can say some stuff to the ref. The ref let him say a couple things, let him get it off his chest.
And he was obviously,
and then he came after him and followed him, and you can't do that.
And that's after Joe Burrow came into the situation to try and push him away. And then it kept going and kept going. Then he got on the sideline, and it kept going and kept going. And I was like, yeah, get fired up, boy. Just get pissed off.
And Mel will not let me, my wife will not let me get away with not mentioning, well, hold on. Are we done with Chase?
Well, there's that other play, and it wasn't like a negative play on him, but the pass interference call that got called against Kansas City, that was actually Chase that pulled the wide receiver down. That was absolutely a bad call on the refs.
Absolutely Chase. Yeah. But then the refs had a few different bad calls. I mean,
yeah, they did.
There was the pass or the defensive holding called on Kelsey, and we watched that back, and I just got to keep it real. I mean, there wasn't a penalty.
No.
Yeah, we got lucky as hell on that one. So, but they got lucky on different ones. We got lucky on different ones. There's no way to tell where that would have went.
Right.
Regardless,
butterfly effect. After that first penalty, had it been called right, who knows how the rest of the game would have went? Sure, but
yeah, it's just like
but so many bad calls in a game. That's just not a good look
on both sides, and just weird, But like to have a pass interference called on us, that was huge. Like defensive holding is a little penalty. Pass interference is a huge penalty.
Yes, it was.
But they also missed a pass interference. They got it right at the end of the game, but they missed one. They missed one big time prior to that, where he was there obviously early. Like he hit the Chiefs' helmet. I forget who it was too. Hit his helmet, and his head was down before the ball ever got there. Yeah. Meaning the ball was in the air.
Every camera angle that they showed, he was already draped on, pretty sure it was Rice. He was draped on Rice's back, forcing him to the ground in every camera angle while the ball was clearly in the air. It was a hugely missed flag.
Yep. Yeah. I think, and this is the eye test, I could be wrong, but the Chiefs definitely had the worst part of the refs' screw-ups throughout the night.
Yeah, I feel like that too.
Although I have no idea how many times number 76 held, because he did the arm bar multiple times. He
got away with a bunch too. He really did.
He got away with a bunch.
There were several that Bob and I were on the couch watching it like, oh, there's going to be a flag, and no flag. And it was crazy. There definitely could have been more flags against the Chiefs.
Well, from what Romo said, though, is the refs will give you a second or two, with a clothesline type of deal, but you have to let go after that.
But on that specific play, I wouldn't even call it a clothesline. I mean, it was like an arm bar. Like he had him in a headlock practically for a good 2 to 3 seconds.
But okay, so the thing my wife is going to be mad if I don't talk about it is Joe Burrow's hair. And I'm sorry. Okay, so it'd be awesome to get a thumbnail of me from back in the day, but in college, in the late 90s, early 2000s, I literally had the same haircut and the same frosted tip thing going on, and it looked good. So
it definitely looks something.
So, but in this day and age, I also had a hoop in each ear, and now earrings you don't see earrings on men anywhere. And literally in college, every man had at least like an earring in each ear.
Yeah, I had 3. Yeah.
It's crazy that fad just like burnt out fast.
Died. Yeah.
But
it's funny now when you see a man with an earring, I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, unless it's I don't know. I still like the earring look, but I'm an old boomer. But yeah, it was funny. His hair. I mean, I think he makes it work.
Yeah, he doesn't look bad. I mean, whatever. It's he's going for a look, but my guess is his next hairstyle is going to be a more natural look. I feel like it's bringing unwanted attention.
He wears fur coats to the game, just like Joe Cool did.
He does, but I don't know. That's just my feeling on it. But let's talk about Joe Burrow on the field a little bit.
Okay.
I really was impressed more than I wasn't with his play as compared to what I thought I would see out of him. I thought he was going to struggle a lot more. Their tight ends absolutely destroyed us, dinking and dunking down the field. We did well for the most part against the receivers, with the exception of a couple of plays, but those tight ends just tore us up. And
it's all because we're double and chase.
And he was absolutely willing to take it all day long. So,
I think he played. I think he outplayed Mahomes.
Yeah,
which is sucky.
He did,
but he definitely looked fine. But I don't know. He's got such a toxic receiver. I don't know, man. I bet you anytime he doesn't get the ball, he complains and bitches and moans.
I was open.
Yeah, it's like, bro, leave me alone.
Yep.
Let me study the plays for the next drive.
Yep. Yeah. So speaking of defense and giving up a lot of plays and yards to the tight ends, I really felt like the defense took a step back today. I was pretty impressed with the way they played against the Ravens, and I really felt like if they played just that game and didn't improve at all, we were going to absolutely demolish the Bengals, and that didn't happen. I felt like they played soft at times. I felt like they gave way too much space over the middle pretty much the whole game. As you said, they're taking away Jamar Chase, we're trying to take away Jamar Chase, and that makes sense. But man, those tight ends were wide open, probably 80% of the time.
And I didn't see a ton from Chris Jones today outside of the first quarter.
Yeah.
Like Carl Loftus was moving. We were getting good pressure.
Mm-hmm.
He could have just been getting double teamed, but I just didn't feel his presence really outside of the first quarter, maybe the first half. I don't know if it was in second quarter or not, but I didn't feel his presence, and it was a little weird. Like I don't know. I mean, maybe they're just game planning against him better, and maybe it's I don't know. And we usually see a whole lot of batted down passes from the defensive line. It's something we've been good at for the last couple of years, and I didn't see a lot of that either.
I'll tell you one thing I was impressed with the defense was that in the first quarter, I believe it was the first defensive stand where they forced Cincinnati to take a timeout. And then I think again early in the second quarter they had to take another timeout, and I know it happened in the second half. They had to take an early timeout. I think 2 of them, and that's definitely a credit to our defense.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think it's a credit to the fans. Yeah, the fans in the stands
definitely had something to do with it.
The fans in the stands were making noise, man. They were making noise hard, and I think that's what it was. But yes, it could be like looks that are confusing the offensive coordinator. That is definitely possible, and also probably in conjunction with the crowd noise. I do think that Joe Burrow early on, I think he was acting. Because he was saying he couldn't hear in his helmet. I think he was acting, trying to make it so the fans didn't realize that they were causing him so many problems.
Yeah.
I think that was a thing. I could be completely wrong. I mean, this is just me just pulling shit out of my...
It did kind of look like that. He might have just said, I can't hear because of the fans, but either way, it wasn't going to stop the fans from... I mean, we're the loudest stadium in the NFL, and we're going to show every opposing team that that's what we do. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, but I don't know where I want to go with there's a lot of concerns I have. A lot of things look good. Let's talk about the very first drive. We ran down there, and they were overusing the run game a ton. But they were doing that because they had they had the far back safeties. They were just they were taking what Cincy was giving us. But we got down and we were first and goal on like the 2 or something like that.
And had to settle for a field goal.
And we had to settle for a field goal, and we did 2 straight runs with Pacheco and then a pass out to the flat to Pacheco. And I don't understand why we didn't give Steele at least one shot at busting it in. Steele had been in on that drive.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next topic, was Steele. Yeah, he was definitely focused a lot more in the game plan this week. You could tell he wasn't in on all the kickoffs, which to me, that means that they were going to use him more in the offensive game. And we saw him out there on a lot of plays, both blocking and running. And for the most part, I think he did well, except for the fumble. But
we'll get to the fumble. Yeah. Why on that first drive specifically?
Why didn't they give it to him?
Why is it we're trying to? Is it one of those things where you try to give something to somebody who got you down there?
Yeah.
Instead of picking the smartest personnel?
I think so.
I wish we wouldn't do that.
And it's not just necessarily because he helped for the most part get us down the field in that drive, but on this team, he's earned the right for that goal line stand. And you got to think.
That is a good point, but
they run that play 10 times.
Smartest personnel to run at we need 2 yards type of ground. He is a smaller guy. He is going to get picked up.
Yep.
And he is, it's less likely he makes it in than Steele makes it in my opinion, of course.
But I agree, but we're still talking about the man's second NFL game, and we don't really know what we have. We've got a good idea. We think we have a good idea, but we don't know. And I think that's kind of Andy Reid.
We have.
I agree. I think I know what we have too.
Have I told you? I did tell you about this, but I haven't told you about it on the podcast. Steele was born and bred to be a gladiator.
Yeah.
This man, I was watching a little expose thing on him, and they showed a picture of him when he first got Crocky J, his it's not little anymore, but his pet alligator. He could hold it. He looked like he was about 9 or 10. He could hold it in his hands. It was about, 6 inches long. Looked like barely the size of a lizard. But what I did notice is he had his shirt off, and this little 10-year-old had fully defined pecs, a six-pack, bulging biceps, big shoulders, and I was like, what the heck? Is this little kid a bodybuilder? Like, I mean, he was born to be a gladiator. I mean, I just thought that was hilarious because I've seen very few kids like that in my life. And I was just like, wow, okay.
And I think Andy Reid might be second guessing himself with the exact same question right now. Like, why didn't I give Steele a chance? You know, if Pacheco punches it in there, we're not talking about this.
Yep, exactly.
But we are talking about it because it didn't happen and he had several opportunities. So I think that maybe next time we might see Steele in there for a chance. Although...
And I don't want to make it sound like I don't have faith in Pacheco.
Oh,
I think Pacheco's great.
Yeah.
I had a huge scare when he looked like he got hurt today. I mean, I don't think Steele is the number one running back that should be getting every carry. I just think Steele should be getting short yardage carries. You know, that's like I think we should be using both of their strengths together. Like that's what I think. But I think to your point, it's his second NFL game. I think Andy Reid's probably trying not to put too much on him. He did fumble today, which was
I think in the long term
awakening to him.
I think that's a good thing that we get it out of the way because I think he's scared for his job right now. And with little reason because I think we've seen enough to know he's got a secure spot on this team as long as he doesn't keep doing that. But we all know what Andy Reid does to people when they fumble the ball. They don't see the field again for a little while.
No.
Yeah, Andy Reid he's taking guys off the field for that.
Okay, guys, I want you guys to tell us in the comments if I'm correct on this percentage wise or if Jason is, because usually on a fumble, I'm almost positive Andy Reid puts them right back in and tries to build their confidence right back up to make them forget the fumble.
I don't know. We'll have to agree to disagree on that. I may be wrong, but that's just kind of how it feels. And I wasn't paying attention to that specifically, but I wonder how many plays it took for Steele to get back in. Was he in on the next play? I don't know. I don't know. I wish I was paying attention.
I don't think he was, but and maybe fumble. Maybe I'm wrong on fumbles. I do know that I'm not. I'm not wrong because they'll give it right back to him and just
a receiver. They do.
They do it for both. I mean, it's kind of like Andy Reid's thing. He doesn't want that stuck in their head as their last play. I mean, it worked out really poorly with my favorite wide receiver, on the Chiefs.
Watson?
No. The guy that dropped a punt after punt.
Oh, yeah. Sky.
Mr. Sky Moore. Yeah, like he kept putting him back in, but that was the one time it didn't work. But I could be wrong. Let us know. We would love to have some interaction with you guys. Yeah. But so the fumble lost. He needs to just hold that thing closer to his chest. Yeah. I mean, just hold it with both hands. You saw when he got the ball back later, he was holding that thing close to his chest when he was going through the through the pile. So
you can see him too if you noticed after that play. It was the next when the Bengals took the field offensively after they lost the ball. They showed Steele on the sideline, and he still had his helmet on. And to me, that means like he was so much thinking about what he did wrong and what he could do better that he forgot to even take his helmet off. He was in another whole place and beating himself up mentally, probably.
I think he was keeping his helmet on, like, please put me back in, coach. Please put me back in. I'm ready. You saw him walk off the field. Again. I mean, it was probably a good learning experience for him. It sucked that it had to be in such a close game. Yeah. And it was just, whew.
Yeah. What about that touchdown to Rice? where Mahomes actually threw the ball long.
Dude.
That ball had to be right exactly in that spot. I mean, that could not have been thrown any better.
And Rice, I always think of Rice as like middle of the field.
Yeah, possession.
Checked out possession. I think of him like oh my gosh, why can I never think of his name? Patriot, coolest guy ever. Edelman, yeah. He reminds me of like an Edelman.
Yeah.
You don't remember Edelman taking a straight up down the edge, a straightaway and catching it. Like that's just not it just wasn't what he does. But I was like, oh shit. Rice has another tool in his toolkit now, I guess.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. But I do have to call a timeout because Joe Boo needs a refill.
Joe Boo.
And we're back from that water break. Now that we're back, I'm saving the juiciest topic that I'm scared to talk about for last, but Worthy.
I think that they were focused on Worthy defensively because they were scared of him and they wanted Rice to beat him. And I think there was a good game plan, if I'm being honest, because, well, look what happened. We were in deep, deep danger of losing that game. I mean, I think it was a defensive plan, though, to take Worthy away. I'm hoping that's what it was, that it was just they kept Worthy covered and double covered. I wasn't watching that enough because I was so into the actual game itself and what was going on the field. But yeah, he didn't do a whole lot. We were kind of hoping that he was going to get some more attention from Mahomes, but I don't. What did he have? One attempt or one target? Two, maybe?
He had a couple targets, but the one that I think of specifically is the one that was intercepted. And man, that was a catchable ball for him.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to go up for those balls, and it kind of scared me if he's just fast, and could catch it, when no one's there. I mean, that's what separated Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill was fast as hell, could get open.
And he'll
but
catch
man,
everything.
If he wasn't open, he'll go up against two different corners, and he'll catch that ball in the air, and Worthy did not go up for the ball, and I just like, you got to at least go up and try to bat it down, bro. So I think that was something new for him to see. It's probably a good learning experience for him too. Being a rookie, he had all kinds of success. Game one, was basically the player of the game, basically in game one offensively, and he did not look great today in that aspect. I mean, he had some okay plays. He had a good jet sweep, but still, I was a little worried about that, and I still don't know. I'm pretty sure the guy that got the pick on him was the stupid guy that was like, "Yep,
talking shit.
He can run straight.
Yep,
that's about all he can do.
Yep,
he can run straight. That's about all he can do." That guy.
Yep.
Yeah, and I just really wish that guy could have eaten his words. Ugh.
Well, he did eat his words because, he along with Chase thinks that they're the best team in the AFC and they're the team to beat, and they definitely are not. I think that we're definitively still the best team to beat, or the team to beat, because we've played two lackluster games and came out with a win both times. This team, if they don't improve, though, are not going to make it to the Super Bowl. I kind of feel like I did at the beginning of last season. I was kind of bummed. I was worried about a lot of mistakes. I remember saying, like, this team is not going to the Super Bowl. This team is not going to, make it far in the playoffs. And, of course, I was wrong in the end.
Everybody told me that. I told everybody, just wait and see.
I just don't know how you could say that with what you were seeing on the field last year, though. That kind of confidence. I mean, as a lover of the Chiefs, I get it, and especially knowing what Mahomes can do. Absolutely, you're right. But it was different last year. So I guess I don't feel that level of skepticism yet. But man, there's so many things to improve on right now. There's so many things that this team has to work on and get better on. And
I think they will. I mean, we saw a definite uptick in play. I told you, we're a third quarter team. Like Andy Reid has some of the best. Andy Reid and his staff have some of the best halftime adjustments and stuff like that. So it helps out a bunch. But just going back to Worthy real quick before we're done with Worthy.
Yeah.
He's got to win those 1v1s. Like I think you said, Mahomes, put that in a bad spot, but I think that Mahomes put it in. It was a 1v1.
Yeah.
You have to trust your receivers to beat or knock the ball down on a 1v1. Like this is the National Football League. The majority of time, people aren't open. You get open when a play is blown or when somebody does a weird route, like we got scored at TD on because the dude just pivoted and just went like it wasn't even a route. He just gave up on his route and just stopped on a dime and then ran back the other way.
Beautiful.
Like that's not a drawn up route, So yeah, I mean, you've got to be able to win 1v1s. Like that's a thing. And it was thrown in a place where he could have jumped for it. He just, was going too fast, maybe. I don't know. But either way, it was rough.
It's part of me wishes that he would just go work out with Tyreek Hill a little bit, maybe get a little bit of the wisdom. Because I think a lot of that is mindset.
Tyreek Hill he doesn't have wisdom.
Are you kidding me?
Sorry, I almost spoke like Tyreek Hill right there. I was like, Tyreek don't got wisdom. Tyreek has
football wisdom.
He doesn't though.
He does.
He has natural ability and intuition.
So does Jamar Chase.
Speak. Listen to the guys speak. Yeah, Chase too.
But he knows how to play football.
But he's not. He's not an educated man. Like, you know what I mean? Like he went through college, but boy, he got pushed through. He
probably had a tutor or two help.
Yeah, more than just a tutor. He had paid under the table type of stuff. But
hi, my name is Tyreek Hill. I'm here to take my test.
Please do not look at my face. I swear to God, I am Tyreek. But yeah, he's Tyreek. Okay, just going back to him getting pulled over outside of the arena. The cops were definitely overbearing for sure. But what you say to police officers, my friend, is yes, sir. Yeah. No, sir. Yes,
unless you're doing something wrong.
Yes, sir. I understand, sir. You keep both hands on the wheel. Like you keep your window down. This is not a new thing. Yeah. I knew this in high school. I learned the hard way, real fast when I was a degenerate. But yeah, you don't do what he did. Then I just remember he gets pulled out of the car, and he's like, man, you crazy? Why are you beating on my window like you were beating on my window, yo? And I'm like. And I rewound it. I rewound the footage back to the cop going, ding, 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 sir. Ding, 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 sir. Literally was barely tapping on his window. He's like, you beating on my window, man. He's just like, and then they're moving him to the ground. And he's like, I just had knee surgery. And then he goes on in the game and gets 140 yards in the game. And it's like, bro, they weren't throwing you down, but we don't need to talk about that. It was a bad look on both sides, and just okay. We got tangent there. Let's
my
go back.
My point with the Tyreek Hill thing is, so he's got a mindset, right, that he's going to win those battles. And I think that mindset, when you hang out with somebody like that and you spend time doing the thing that you guys do for a living and practicing that together, that rubs off on people. And I think that Worthy could benefit from that kind of.
What if the way he speaks rubs off on him?
Well,
he's like, I be like that.
No, he's too.
I be like that.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop.
Worthy seems like such a good dude.
Yeah.
He seems educated. He seems smart
and humble,
intelligent, humble.
But I want him to. I want some of that humbleness gone. Like, it's good to be humble to the media, to the fans, to your teammates. But when you're out on that field, I don't want humble. I want bash in your face. I want aggressiveness. I want somebody that's going to go up and fight for that ball, like you're talking about.
You want like Juju, like one-handed, but pressing that linebacker to the ground. I was like, yeah, Juju.
I mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
He was off balance.
It was acting. It was bullshit acting by the linebacker, but it just made the linebacker look like a wimp, and I loved it.
Yeah, it did. It did.
I was like, are you playing soccer here, bro? Stop acting.
So, what do you think? You got more?
One last thing before we talk about the elephant in the room. Our tackles.
Yeah.
Holy crap,
dude.
That
was rough.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about Subi Amiyata. Number 76. We talked about number 76.
Let's call him Kingsley.
Kingsley, perfect.
Suamataia.
That's it. You got it. Nice. It's such a cool, like, dude, Hawaiians have the coolest names.
Yeah, they do.
They really do. It's like Suamataita. But like,
you just gotta say it that way.
But like, he's he struggled tonight. Now, really hard defensive end to go against. Yeah. But he really struggled. The tackles, Mahomes got sacked way more than I'm, normally expecting, and it was rough, man. Like, we've got those guards in there, but we need to figure out a way to have them help the tackles more, because it was rough.
It was rough. I mean, that was, one of the things that we wanted to see a little bit more was a little bit more air under the ball, and Mahomes just didn't have time almost ever tonight to even consider throwing it long. He had that one play to Rice that, from my recollection, that's the only play over 20 yards we had. So
I
saw less.
We had the calls. Like, Kelsey got a huge one downfield that was called back.
Yeah.
We had so many that were
because
called
of holding on Suamataia.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. They say the ceiling is really high on him. And I know sometimes with the linemen, it just takes time. But gosh, this is our door, man. This is the opportunity for a three-peat.
I know. Yeah, the three-peat. That's what I told you at the start of this podcast, that I was afraid we're talking way too much about the three-peat.
No, we're not. We're not.
And that's getting in people's heads, and I really think it's a bad thing.
It is what it is. Patrick Mahomes was talking about the three-peat 3 minutes after winning the second Super Bowl. He was talking about it on the podium.
What is and what is?
Huh?
You said it is what it is, and I said what is and what is?
Yeah, it is what it is. So Patrick Mahomes.
I hate that freaking term.
You're used to it horrible. Because I say it all the time.
Oh God, it's horrible.
Patrick Mahomes.
It's like saying I can't explain it because it is what it is.
Well, no, I can explain it, but it is what it is. There's nothing that we can say about it that's going to change it. Patrick Mahomes started that when he was on the podium accepting his second Lombardi trophy in a row, talking about nobody's done it a third time. That's obviously the goal. Everybody's talking about it. There's no way we're going to not be able to not talk about it.
You just use the other term that you use the other word that pisses me off to no end. The word obviously. It drives me.
Is it not obvious?
Dude,
everybody talks about it.
people tuning into the show are tuning in to get insight that might not have been obvious to them. I do YouTube stuff all the time, and I see these guides for different games. And they're like, obviously this. I'm like, dude, it's not obvious. Maybe it's obvious to you. You can say this is obvious to me, but if it's not obvious to you, it's because like this, and this, and this. But they'll be like, obviously, I'm just sitting there going, okay, well, people are tuning into your guide in the freaking title, so it's not obvious to them. So don't say obviously. Sorry, but yeah, I'm getting on a tangent now.
No, I hear what you're saying, but everybody is talking. Everybody, every national news media, every sportscaster, ESPN, absolutely everybody that has something to do with football is talking about the three-peat. And that includes the Chiefs front office. That includes the players. That includes the coaches. Usually that's a taboo thing. You're not supposed to talk about.
Are we going to talk about the quad-peat after we win this year?
I might talk about the quad-peat now if you're not careful.
Oh, man. And the Pentapete? Is that even how you would say it?
We'll talk about that next year.
Oh, the Pentagon has 5 sides, but we got 5
rings in a row.
Oh my gosh! What happens if Mahomes runs out of fingers? Do you think they could fit that
one on his
Super
toe?
Bowl ring to a pinky toe ring?
Yeah. Oh no, it would be his big toe.
I think the pinky toe would be cooler.
I don't think Mahomes is a pinky toe guy. I think he's a big toe. You might get a middle toe.
Oh man! All right, well, yeah, the tackles are a little scary for me, but I mean, we gotta remember, like, you know, the Bengals and the Ravens have gotten to a tough start, but they are good teams.
Oh yeah, they are.
They're like snake bit at the moment. So, I mean, we have to think they are really good teams, especially solid teams on the O and D defensive line. And that's really where the yoke of a team is on those lines.
Yep.
And people don't talk about it a lot because you look at the flashy stuff and the cool stuff,
right?
You know, from the wide receivers, the running backs and stuff. But really, your team's bread and butter is in those 2 different lines. And those make everybody on the offense or defense look better.
Well, Juwan Taylor got better towards the end of the season last year, right? His run in the playoffs was much better than it was in the regular season. So I have
That's number 75, right? Right tackle.
74, I believe. No, 72. I'm still not good with numbers yet. I hate the numbers.
But he's the right tackle, right?
Yeah.
Wiley came out and got left tackle's
Suamataia.
Suamataia.
Wasn't I think he was left tackle last year though.
No, he was the right tackle last year. Okay. We lost left tackle we had last year was the guy that was kind of like worrisome. I forget his name though. But Suamataia, the rookies on the left. He played right tackle in college, from what I understand. But yeah, he's on the left, and we still have the same guy on the right. I think it's 75, but I didn't remember his name.
Well, some of us in the know, we know that when these football players are going in the combine and they have the Whatlick test, it's a test about their intelligence. Wonderlick, right? Offensive linemen are very commonly known to be some of the smarter guys on the football field, right? And we know from what happened last year how Juwan Taylor specifically got better at the end of the year. I feel optimistic that our tackle play will get better over the next 10 to 15 weeks.
I think it'll
to
improve a ton. I think just our interior, our 2 guards and our center are huge for them, and they are going to learn. But have you ever taken the Wonderlick?
No.
I've taken it multiple times for jobs because I used to be a systems and network engineer, and the Wonderlick test is very common.
Oh yeah,
test that they would give us before hiring us. It's an interesting test. It's basically like a changed up IQ test. It's basically what it is. They just don't.
Is there a time limit, or is it just one of those things where you can just answer it?
it's timed along with like it takes into account time and correct answers, and it takes into account a bunch of different things. Okay. But it's a very interesting test. So yeah, I mean, I wonder what Jamari Chase scored on the Wonderlic test. I didn't take that test. They just didn't want me to take that test. You know, I don't need a test. I'm smart. Sorry, I can't help it.
Oh my goodness!
I never heard him talk. It cracked me up. It cracked me up.
It wasn't.
Everybody can make fun of my stutter, so it's all good. If you can't take it, don't dish it, and I can take it.
Yeah. One thing I know about you, you're definitely willing to take it. So, yeah. My only other note is, I mean, man,
do we want to get to it? I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I don't know. We didn't really talk about this, so my only thing was Amenahue, man. I really miss an Amenahue on that defensive line.
Yeah. Okay, we're still not to the elephant in the room. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta look at it a little bit closer. I really thought he was getting closer to playing, but we'll have to do a little research on Amenahue and see what's going on there, because when he comes back, I think that will shore up a lot of the defensive woes that we have.
Huge. Yeah, if we get him back, I mean, he's a rusher. I mean, he came to us from the 49ers. He was one of their guys 2 years ago that really solidified that hardcore defense the Niners have. Oh, also, rip Niners. I'm so sorry for you guys. Like losing Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And then they had a scare during the game where
pour one out.
Kittle looked like he might be down for a while. He did come back, so good for them.
And
and then Bosa went down too.
Bosa. And I didn't actually hear if Bosa came back JJ. Or not. But like, I don't like. One time during the game today, towards the end, when you were getting scared we were going to lose, we got a sack on Joe Burrow, and you said, hurt him. And I was like, dude, no. First off, I don't ever want anyone to get hurt unless they're a complete asshole. And I mean, by complete asshole, I don't even mean Jamari Chase. I mean somebody like what's the guy that stepped on people's nuts? Defensive tackle.
The guy right. No, not my guy before.
Josh, oh my gosh.
Sue and Ndamukong Suh.
Ndamukong Suh would be an example of a piece of shit human being that I'd love to see get hurt. But I don't want anybody getting hurt. I don't want to win, because their star quarterback got hurt. I think it's bad for the game overall. I do not want to win like that. And I feel like the Chiefs don't want to win like that either. And so, like, I remember the Chiefs catching Josh Allen from, like, wiping out on the benches. Like, 3 Chiefs caught him and just popped him right back on the field and said, Josh, go at it. Like, I love sportsmanship, and I don't want anybody to get hurt. And I'm always feeling for people when they get hurt, unless they're a complete piece of shit.
I just meant like maybe he'd stub his toe and be out for the next couple of plays. Like, I don't want him to get hurt, but just a little hurt.
I don't want to hear the fucking Bengals fans going, yeah, well, if Joe Burrow hadn't got hurt, we would have totally won that game.
Well, Joe Burrow didn't get hurt, and we still won the game. So
I know, but
I was right.
I don't want any of that crap. I don't want people to get hurt. I want the game to be fun. I want the game to be competitive, and we did get that. But to end it out here, the elephant in the room. How do you make an elephant sound? Ooh, nope. I can't do it.
I wasn't even. It sounds more like a trumpet, but I'm not doing that on audio right now.
I can't. Yeah. Nope. Nothing. You did it.
That's closer. Yeah.
You did it.
You didn't.
Nope. Okay. Nope. I tried. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if this is hurting your ears, guys. All right, dude.
One more time.
One more time.
You don't want to try it one more time?
No, I'm not going to do it one more time.
I tried.
That's worse. Okay.
All right.
So,
the elephant.
Man, last 2 games, Mahomes does not look like Mahomes.
No, but he's got those 2 tackle problems, and he just doesn't have a lot of time. That's what Mahomes does. He buys time, and he just hasn't really had the opportunity. He did a couple of times.
He did, but
right?
he's not getting out of the pocket like he did before.
Well, he's not able to. It's collapsing. And if he steps up, I mean, he's getting creamed.
I don't know, man. His vision is off. He had 2 picks this game.
Yeah,
threw a pick last game. He has 3 picks in 2 games already.
Yeah,
and I'm just, it's, and they're all like not, they're not Tony picks where Tony pops it up in the air for every defender to catch.
They were legit Mahomes picks for sure.
I mean, the one to Worthy tonight was, that is on Worthy to get that, but still, he could have thrown it further and just let Worthy like dive for it, like Worthy's got the speed. I wonder if his, and I haven't seen many of the crazy across the body throws that I've seen in past years. I saw one of them tonight. I'm sure there was more probably, but I only remember seeing one of them tonight. And it's got me a little worried.
I'm not worried. Every player has an off season, and I don't think that's even what we're seeing here. I think that we're seeing a product of an offensive line that is struggling. One player is struggling a lot. But as the season goes on, I think we'll see a lot more of what we expect to see out of Mahomes. I really do. Mahomes is a clutch guy, and it's not a clutch part of the season right now. So we're still winning. So I'm not too concerned. Yeah. I mean, he could look better. 100% agree with you there.
I wonder if with the tackle problems, we need to go to more 3-step and 5-step drops instead of 7-step drops.
He did get tripped on that one handoff to Steele. Or was it to Steele? I think it was to Steele. But yeah, I don't like it when he's right up under center. That ankle scares me. The knee, well, I guess that was just the one quarterback snap his first season, but still, like, he's not the toughest man out there as far as his body being built. I know mentally he's one of the toughest guys to ever play, but
yeah, I am really worried and concerned because he has not looked on point like he has before, and that's got me worried a little bit.
I'd be worried if I didn't see that beautiful pass to Rice, and last week that throw to Worthy that was right on point. I mean, he's definitely still got it. He just has to have just a scotch more time in the pocket to get set and let some of his receivers get open. And I think that's right now. That's what defenses are doing. They're trying to get to Mahomes as quickly as possible because that's the only way you're going to beat him. You give him time back there, he's going to win.
We haven't even talked about the fact that Hollywood Brown.
He's out.
Yeah, we that happened after our last recording, and Hollywood Brown is on IR, and we have no idea when he is going to be coming back. So
it could be the end of the season. It could be next season. It's hard to say, but as you were saying during the game, man, that Smith-Schuster pickup is huge now.
Huge. But still, Smith-Schuster is not like the whole beauty of Hollywood and Worthy being on the team this year was the fact that we'd have 2 burners on either side of the field, just opening up everything for everything underneath. And when it didn't open up, they'd be freaking wide open catching, and my heart goes out to Hollywood. My heart goes out to the Chiefs Kingdom. Hollywood, I mean, dude, he came as soon as he signed with the Chiefs, he moved here within a few days and was and lived at Two Light, the fancy
high-rise downtown
apartment, high-rise downtown.
Did some work there,
and he got his car stolen like the first week he was here, by the Gone in 60 Seconds crew that's here in Kansas City. But he moved here immediately. He got involved. He regularly joined the stream of the Colt, the How About Those Chiefs guy, and would talk to like the fans and chat. I mean, he was all in and excited as hell, and it's got to be mentally horrible for him right now. And it's sad for us as fans. Like we were poised to watch an unbelievable wide receiving core. And, tonight, it might just be the Bengals were really good on defense, but I mean, he was not finding open wide receivers. We were running the ball a ton. I mean, that was because the Bengals were, putting the safeties back far, and they were basically giving us, running yards. But
I think another part of the equation, though, here is these teams, especially the Ravens, who we beat in the postseason, the Bengals, who we beat in the postseason. These teams are tired of losing to the Chiefs, and so their offseason is focused on beating a team that can beat the Chiefs. And so we are getting the best of the best playbooks each and every week from virtually every team in the NFL. I mean, who doesn't want to knock off Mahomes and the Chiefs? He's already being talked about as the GOAT. I for one still think that Brady is atop Mahomes for the GOAT. I mean, 7 Super Bowls, man. That's just, with 2 different teams and 2 different coaches.
For sure. Yeah.
But
it's even if we get the 3-peat, I think Brady is still the GOAT.
I think at that point Mahomes gets it. I really do.
I think Mahomes, I don't think he even needs to win another Super Bowl to be the GOAT, but I think he needs to go at least another 3 years. Like the longevity of Brady was another reason
very
that
impressive.
He is the GOAT. And the reinventing himself as time went on. I mean, when Brady started, he was basically Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he turned into the unbelievable guy that he became. And then he turned back into a game manager after that.
Yep.
He
once his physical
he was
ability
a student
started to
of the
drop.
game, and that's what made him so great.
And who knows, we might see him in Miami at some point this year. They're in need of a quarterback. Poor Tua. That poor guy, man.
Oh, it's
McDaniels
sad.
was like, look, man, you're the head quarterback of your family right now. I'm
just glad he got paid before it
I
all
agree.
happened. What's your call on that? Do you think
I think he should do the smart thing and hang it up.
That's what I think too. But do you think the NFL should step in, or do you think they should put the decision in his hands? Because I don't think the decision in his hands is a responsible play.
Yeah, I agree, man. But again, then we have a slippery slope. If the NFL says, 3 concussions and you're out, because I'm sure there's a lot of guys out on the field right now that have had 3 concussions in their career. They're not as public as Tua, because Tua's were bad. The first 2 were real bad.
Tua's are very different from. When Patrick Mahomes got a concussion, remember he got up, he was woozy, he was kind of walking around. Tua gets hit for the concussion, and it wasn't even a big hit that he took this last
time,
one. Yeah. But he's got his arms going out, and his fingers are doing the weird thing, and he's like, it's scary, man. It's scary, and that guy's got.
He's got kids.
Is it kids or kid? I think it is kids.
I think he's got kids.
But yeah, it is a slippery slope, but maybe it's one that needs to be done. We don't need to hear about these horrible stories.
Why didn't the NFL step in when they could have? What if he gets seriously hurt next time? Like seriously hurt, And, that is going to be the talk. Why didn't the NFL do something when they could have? Why did they let him do this when he's so obviously prone to it? Sorry for using the word obviously, but when you're taking the kind of hits that he's taken, if you haven't seen at least the first 2 concussions that he took, it's worth a Google. I mean, they were nasty, and they weren't dirty hits. It was just the way that he hit the ground with his head. I mean, the second one was brutal, man. Absolutely brutal. I don't know how he came back from that. So I personally hope that he doesn't, but you're in your 5th year, I believe. And he just
27.
got signed this huge contract, and he's got Tyreek Hill. This team is definitely one of the favorites to make it deep into the postseason. I mean, who wouldn't want to come back to that? He's probably just chomping at the bit to get back on the field right now. I don't think if he isn't forced to retire, then he's not going to retire. That's my personal feeling.
I don't think he is either.
And I don't blame him for it.
It's scary, though. It
is super scary. I hope that this is the last time we see Tua with a concussion. I hope that he comes back and plays another 10 years, injury-free. I really do, because I think he's got a good heart. I think he's a classy kid. And, I mean, sometimes he's fun to watch on the football field. I'm not as high on Tua as everybody else is. To me, he's Russell Wilson 2.0. He just doesn't look that great to me. But his team is winning a lot more, and he's got a superstar wide receiver. So, of course, I'd want to come back.
He's got possibly the best receiver to ever play the game.
Potentially, yeah. If he was a little bit smarter, huh?
Yeah, if he was just a little bit smarter. If he was a little bit smarter, he might not make the plays he makes, though. You never know.
Right.
Well, I'm a little worried about Mahomes. Are you guys at home worried about Mahomes? What do you guys think? Because I'm a little worried.
I'm a little not worried.
Well, I mean,
we'll see.
It's okay. But that's all I've got, unless you've got something else.
I was going to sing a little ditty before we left today, but then I decided better judgment is probably not. So,
sing a little ditty?
Yeah. Like Jack and Diane?
Jack and Diane.
Yeah. I was just kidding. Don't get started. Don't start singing.
Best that they can.
So, where can they find you, Bob?
Life goes on long after the
If we want this podcast to go on, you should stop singing.
Gone. All right, you can find me on Twitter at Blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. You can find our show and everything you need to know at linktr.ee/BUKNBOB. You can find all of our links there, but you can also search Buk and Bob, BUKNBOB. Find us in most spots, and that's where you can find us. Don't forget, call us on our call-in number. We'd love to have some call-ins. I do need to change the voice message because I think it just still says my other podcast, Warcraft Reloaded. But leave us a voicemail. It's 816-866-1066. You're driving into work. Tell us what you feel about the Chiefs, and we can spark conversation with your voicemail. Give us an old school radio type of feel. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, and if you guys would just kind of let Bob know that I'm right most of the time when we disagree, I'd appreciate it, because I feel like I've got my finger on the pulse.
Well, Buck, where can they find you specifically?
As always, on Facebook, and you can find me on X at Buk_Tastic. That's BUK_TASTIK.
Back in my day, they called that Twitter.
I know you call it Twitter, so I thought I'd call it X.
Lawn. Yeah, you can find me on X.
Yeah.
I was just practicing for next week.
Oh, for next week. Oh, one more note. Tony Romo. I love Tony Romo.
Yeah,
I absolutely love him doing the games.
Tony Romo's great. I still need to hear a game casted by Tom. Do that.
I heard him a little bit last week. He wasn't bad. You could tell he was nervous a little bit behind the mic, but he's he wasn't sure quite when to pipe in sometimes, but he'll get the hang of it.
Yeah, it's also been really weird. Been watching Inside the NFL. I've loved that show since I was a kid. It's amazing. The last 2 years, I am not fond of the format change. I really think, guys, chime in with me if you think this is horrible too. Like Inside the NFL used to have the best game recaps in the biz. To have that deep voice guy just, giving you the game recap. They had the music, they did slow-mo at the right time. I mean, it was beautiful.
Well produced.
And they don't do that anymore. I'm telling you, I'll do it cheap. I'll do it cheap, and I'll do it good. I promise you. Please tell. I tweeted at Inside the NFL last night. I seriously could do that. I like the analysis, but guys, the show was about the recaps, and you guys need to remember that. Although I will say, not a fan of the host for the last 2 years, this year and the year before, but love Chad Ochocinco on the desk, and they added Bill Belichick this year, and it is so weird to see Bill Belichick talk and realize that he's not just a robot monster. I mean, he's got great insight on the games, and it's
he's
just
so smart.
so weird to see him talk like a normal person instead of like
and get his real thoughts rather than the coach speak that he was so famous for.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's weird.
On to next week.
But yeah, let's get those recaps back. And if not, maybe I should just do them. Maybe I should do them for our channel on YouTube, and just I wonder if I have a bite. I bet
send me your resume.
I bet everything would get demonetized if I did that. If I did the game,
or you get hired.
True.
Yeah.
It could be like a resume or like a portfolio.
Stay tuned. See what happens next. You never know.
You never know. Never know.
All right.
Well, we'll see you next week.
Go Chiefs.
How about those
Chiefs?